Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4 over the top of a chase, and we're making our way to this chase. You can kind of look on your screen. We understand this is on Goodfellow. If you look at the top of your screen, it's kind of hidden by trees, but you saw briefly some police chasing a suspect. We don't know at this time. We're still waiting to get some information confirmed by police, but we're still waiting for a lot of confirmation on what exactly they're chasing this suspect for. We know this has been going on now for the last 15 to 20 minutes. That's when we first got word of this. And again, Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4 over the top of this. This is in the North St. Louis area right now on Goodfellow. It may be started on Interstate 70, and we have gotten some information that possibly St. Anne police are involved with this. Again, no idea why that they're chasing this suspect. We have calls into police right now to get a little bit more information, and it is very hard in these residential areas to stay and get a visual on them. We know that Drew Mitchell up in Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4 is trying his best to get a visual on this chase, and it's been going on for quite some time.
And if you do have to head out the door, I would suggest not taking 70 anytime soon, especially from 170 over to the city. And otherwise, if you have to get out the door right now, maybe Interstate 64 could be a better option. As we see the chase enter into the middle of your screen, looks like it appears to be going through an area in North St. Louis.
And again, this has been going on for about 15 to 20 minutes. Well, right here, we see a crash almost running into an apartment building here. We're going to see how this plays out. We see St. Louis County, that's one of their cruisers, as they go closely, guns drawn. We do want to warn you, we don't know what's going to happen here. And I think Drew Mitchell, he keeps an eye on that as well up in Sky Zoom 4. Can't tell right now. We see some officers running away, going toward a different vehicle.
That has also crashed, and it looks like that's on its roof. And if our producers can get us a location exactly of this intersection, it looks to be right at an apartment complex on Goodfellow. There in North St. Louis City, it appears.
And we don't want to zoom in too much because we don't know if this is going to turn violent in any way. You can see that it looks like police do have this car surrounded, this blue car that we're looking at. We just got word this is Goodfellow and Wabada up in North City, near that area. And it looks like, I can't tell if they have made contact with the suspect in this vehicle, but all of the doors look to be open. It doesn't look like they're moving too frantically, so you would think that they possibly has this suspect.
We are confirming now through St. Louis County Police that this was a carjacked vehicle. So it appears that the suspect in this stole a car from someone somewhere in the county, and this all came to an end, as you are seeing live right now in Goodfellow, south of Wabada, there in North St. Louis. Not sure of what apartment complex that is.
Officers approaching the vehicle very carefully. Again, we haven't had a visual, at least I haven't seen the suspect. It looks like on the driver's side they do have the person. Okay, now I'm starting to see what's going on a little bit as they get that suspect out of the car. But high speeds that this was going through, and we saw residential streets there in North City. A very, very dangerous situation. Of course, here we are at 6:49, right in the middle of a morning commute. A lot of people headed to work, and I mean, just a lot of things going on, and a lot of things that officers have to think about as they're doing this pursuit, as St. Louis County Police involved. And it looks like, again, that they have this suspect. And it looks like something on the ground there. Okay, that's one of the canine units. That's what that was. But a lot of damage to this particular car, almost running into an apartment complex. We saw officers running to another vehicle, and I don't know if Drew Mitchell can hear me in Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4, but it looks like there's two different scenes here, two different situations. You have the blue car that we were focused on, and then on the right-hand side of your screen, you see a silver car that was on its roof. Okay, there we go. There's a suspect that is being cuffed right now and walked toward a police cruiser. We don't know, well, we do know this is a carjacking situation, right, Laura?
In the county, that has been confirmed.
Okay. So police...
As you see right there, Maple and Goodfellow is the exact interchange, and that's the silver car that Corey was talking about as they are putting the cuffs on the suspect, probably getting ready to load him into a police car. And several different jurisdictions came together on this. County, St. Anne, city, two different cars involved. We haven't been able to see who the driver of that silver car was yet, or at least I haven't been able to.
Yeah, most of the focus we've had on the blue car, but again, as that silver car gets in our picture now, we know that was involved in some way. Maybe two suspects possibly, involved with this carjacking in two different cars. Of course, we're working to get that information from police right now, but a very active scene in North City, again, at Goodfellow and Maple. Very dangerous situation as people head to work here at 650, and this was going through very residential areas. All right, we'll stay on top of this throughout News 4 this morning. Okay, we're going to actually take a look at this. This was about 4 minutes ago when the blue car that we're looking at, crashed, almost hitting this apartment complex. Luckily, that did not happen. But very quickly, police surround that blue vehicle. Again, this was a carjacking suspect, according to St. Louis County Police. And now we're back live of what the situation looks like right now.
And it looked like that silver car, as we got to see that again for a second time, it looks like that blue car might have clipped the silver car.
Yeah. Okay.
Scary, very scary
Very
situation that started just about 20 minutes ago.
And I don't know, I was going to say, our producers are talking in our ear at the same time, giving us a little information, and he said the same thing that I just saw, is that it looks like some medical units, or maybe it's just police, they're attending to somebody that is on the ground up in the top part of your screen, right outside of the silver car. So as Laura said, it looked like the blue car clipped that silver car. If you don't know if that person in the silver car is now being treated, we certainly hope that person is okay, but we don't know exactly what the situation with police in that general area around the silver car is.
If we could, to our producers, there's a big church right on this corner too. I think that would give a pretty good geographical location. So they're working on getting us the name of that church. As you were seeing live, a dozen police units have responded to what was a carjacking in the county that turned into a police chase on Interstate 70, has now ended in a crash right here at the intersection of Goodfellow and Maple in North City. Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4 showing that huge police response, and now it sounds like maybe that is a vacant church, but still very noticeable one for anyone who lives or works in that area.
Obviously, with this police presence, if you have to go this way, that Goodfellow and Maple, stay out of the area. Very active investigation, and we are making calls. Our producers are making calls right now to get some more information. We understand now that this church that we're looking at is the Catholic Charities Church. So, again, that just gives you more of a geographical positioning of what we're looking at right now.
Scary situation started now about 25 minutes ago. Corey, if there's anything good that is now happening, it's the fact that this ended not on the interstate, but in an area where not too many people were. I mentioned maybe about 5 or 6 minutes ago, don't take 70. No impact now as far as the interstate is concerned. You
mentioned the multiple jurisdictions involved here. We are seeing police cruisers from Velda City. We're seeing cruisers from the North County Co-op. St. Louis County there on scene. We also had heard that St. Anne was involved in this. So just multiple police agencies that are involved in this chase that is now over. It ended about 5 to 7 minutes ago with that blue car. Again, we saw a suspect moments ago being cuffed and put into a police cruiser by St. Louis County Police. And now other police officers are tending to somebody on the ground, and for good reason. We haven't zoomed too tightly into whatever they're doing, because it kind of looks like a medical situation. They're tending to somebody that's near a silver car at the top of your screen. We don't know what the condition of that person is, so we want to be very, very careful of what we show.
Corey, let's take a moment to replay what played out live here on News 4 this morning just in the last 5 to 10 minutes. This is the part of the chase that you were seeing in the bigger box on your screen, and you see that blue car crash, and I still think it clipped that silver car, and that's why we have another car involved in all of this. If you did just turn on your television, you're wondering what in the world is going on. Right around 6:30, we were able to confirm that there was a carjacking reported in the county. This blue car is the alleged suspect in that carjacking. A chase took off on Interstate 70. It exited there at Goodfellow, where it all came to an end right here, Goodfellow at Maple in North County, very close to the Catholic Charities Church.
So this is back out here live as investigators are still checking out this blue car that allegedly was involved with some kind of carjacking, as Laura said, in St. Louis County. They're starting their investigation, but it's still on the right-hand side of your screen. It's a very active situation outside of that silver car, as it seems like police and maybe medical personnel are tending to somebody that is on the ground. This church is the Catholic Charities Church. That just kind of gives you a little bit of a geographical reference. We know this is the intersection of Goodfellow and Maple in North City. As Laura said, around 6:30 this morning, we were able to get this confirmation this chase was going on. We launched Powerhouse Sky Zoom 4 in the air, and if you were watching it, I mean, it was very hard to keep track of this chase just because of the nature of where it is. It's in a residential area, a lot of different trees and buildings in the way, but as we saw just moments ago, how this chase ended.
And we've been able to go ahead and cut video to show you what it looked like as that suspect was being taken into custody. This is the view from just in the last 5 to 10 minutes. You see that suspect, the police have him up against one of the walls of that apartment building. He is the one that came out of that blue car. It appears that they have since walked him over to one of the police cruisers, undoubtedly trying to ask him some questions about what has happened over the last 35 to 45 minutes.
We haven't been told about any kind of injuries or any other crashes that possibly were involved with this. And if we can kind of maybe think about some of the positives of how bad this could have been. I mean, certainly somebody going through a residential area, somebody could have been hit, either a pedestrian or in their car. As far as we know, that has not happened. And then you looked at how this crash ended. It could have ended in the bottom of that apartment building, and it didn't. And it looks like this was a peaceful situation as far as the suspect giving up, not putting up a fight against police. So you never know how these situations are going to play out. So far, it seems like there is a little bit of a positive with all of that.
Especially that nothing happened on the interstate.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to continue to track this throughout the day right here on News 4. We'll, of course, be asking police questions more about the alleged incident that the suspect was involved in, but we do want to check in with our Ken Earhart, who's got your Friday forecast.
Well, things are pretty quiet this morning. The Doppler radar not indicating any rain in our area. We are watching for the possibility of a couple of showers off to the north, but they are not going to have much of an impact on your morning commute. But watch for that around Pike County over the next hour or so and up into the Bowling Green area. We are seeing mostly cloudy skies, although there's a lot of blue sky on the Illinois side at this hour. Speaking of which, we're in North County at Christian Hospital looking to the south, so more sunshine to the left than there is to the right, if that makes any sense. That's our BJC Skycam. 65 in Litchfield, 70 in Chesterfield, 66 in Belleville right now, and a high today of about 88 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We'll be in between the clouds at times, but we'll also see some cloud, and that humidity remains down a little bit less than you would expect, so a pretty pleasant evening at the ballpark. And we are talking about a high tomorrow of about 90 degrees for Saturday, and again, partly cloudy skies. And the heat up continues into Sunday, a high of 92, but we could put that heat index into the mid-90s by then, and then we're talking about a chance of storms by the first part of next week.
Before we send you to CBS this morning, we do want to give you one more live look of this breaking news we've been covering over for the last 15 minutes. Again, this is North City, where a police pursuit just ended. St. Louis County Police telling us that a carjacking suspect leading them on a pursuit for many miles and ending here in North City at Goodfellow and Maple. We're going to keep eyes on this situation, and we're making calls to police right now to figure out exactly all of the details. Thank you for starting your morning with News 4 this morning. We'll see you back here on Monday.